might have noticed something different about Meghan lately. Instead of just complaining like she used to, she's got someone else doing it for her now. Meet Meghan's new spokesperson, Melissa McCarthy. She's always defending Meghan, but without much proof. Let's dive into it in this video. Hello friends, welcome to the King YouTube channel. Many of you might not be familiar with Melissa McCarthy, and honestly, you're lucky. Let me tell you why. There was a time when she was quite famous, but my respect for her vanished completely when she and Meghan mocked the late queen as she was dying. It's an image that sticks with me, McCarthy wearing a fancy dress and a cabbage hat, seemingly mocking the late queen's other nickname. It was appalling, and it seemed like Meghan and McCarthy were no longer friends. But surprise, surprise, that wasn't the case. Lately, McCarthy has been speaking out to support and promote Meghan Markle's new venture in a ridiculously fake way. So, Melissa McCarthy, well, she's sort of talented, but let's not exaggerate. She had some success in the business, but that was a while ago. Now, she's just another Hollywood has been chewed up and spat out like so many others. And now she's clinging to whatever fame she can get by cozying up to a confessed fraud, someone who schemed her way into the royal family through their most troubled member. Melissa McCarthy has chosen to be friends with evil by siding with Meghan Markle. And what she's saying about Meghan is just ridiculous. She can't seem to grasp why there's so much criticism aimed at Meghan. She even suggested that people feel threatened because Meghan might become successful. Seriously. Meghan hasn't exactly proven herself to be a success. I mean, what planet are they living on? Why would anyone feel threatened by Meghan? She can't do anything on her own. The life she has is all thanks to her husband and the royal family. If she hadn't met Harry, nobody would even know her name. I can't help but question, are they truly friends? Is Melissa really a friend to Meghan if she can't see what her supposed friend did? Honestly, Harry and Meghan get on my nerves. They annoy me more than people who put empty juice cartons back in the fridge or those who use up all the toilet paper and don't bother replacing it. Melissa McCarthy must be really desperate for attention if she's hanging around with Meghan. And the fact that she said everyone should leave Meghan alone tells me she's not just out of touch, she's also a hypocrite. I mean, if Meghan would stop bothering other people, if she would stop spreading lies and trying to change history, if she would stop forcing her PR on us, then maybe nobody would criticize her. Right from the start, Meghan was warmly welcomed by people and the royal family alike. They gave her many privileges. But sadly, Meghan's bad attitude led to her losing it all. It's not about her skin color or where she comes from. Meghan claims she's faced discrimination, but in truth, she's the one discriminating against others. She has issues with her own race, insulting people of color. When Meghan said she had to learn to be black, she denied her own heritage. Instead, she often relied on her white privilege. Melissa defends Meghan, claiming she's targeted because she's a woman, but she conveniently overlooks Meghan's bullying of Catherine. It's clear Melissa is just as hypocritical as her friend. Meghan's not even that talented, and she craves publicity just like Melissa does. Melissa's recent op-ed about Meghan only solidifies this view. She's opportunistic and disgusting, not someone decent people would associate with. But Meghan and Melissa fit together perfectly. They lack manners, boundaries, and self-respect, which fuels their cruelty towards others. They say you can judge someone by their friends, and looking at Meghan, it's easy to draw conclusions. Melissa should tread carefully when cozying up to Meghan Markle. It seems like they're using each other. Meghan has a reputation for exploiting people and then discarding them when they're no longer useful. One day you're on her side, the next day you're her enemy. Melissa's willingness to risk everything to defend Meghan struck me as both pathetic and amusing. She seemed oblivious to Meghan's actions, praising her as a smart and interesting woman with her own life. But if that's true, why is Meghan always craving attention? And why does she feel the need to fabricate stories and speak ill of both her and Harry's families? Meghan's biggest flaw is her lack of humility to simply embrace her role as a working royal and follow the norms like everyone else. Plus, she lacks the talent to thrive as an actress. Just look at how hard she tries to appear attractive. Recently, Harry and Meghan were even booted out of a few A-list parties they crashed. People are starting to push back and say no to her. So why is Melissa McCarthy sticking up for her? Melissa needs a reality check and to live in the real world. Nobody sees Meghan as a threat because of her intelligence or success, but everyone can see through her manipulation and lies, trashing others for profit. That's the best way to sum up Meghan Markle's situation. Meghan really should rethink her tactic of using others to complain on her behalf. It's never worked, and it's only making things worse. Everyone can see through these fake statements. It's clear Meghan's behind them. And let's not forget her past blunders. They're still fresh in people's minds. It's hard for her to appear interesting and attractive now. Meghan needs to accept that her ride is over. Ever since she pulled Harry away from his family, it's all become crystal clear. Neither of them have an easy life now, but they brought it upon themselves. No one else is to blame for their situation. Looking back at Harry before Meghan came into his life, he seemed a bit aimless. It's like he was just drifting from one thing to another. After his military service, the royal family really stepped in to support him. They laid the groundwork for him to lead Invictus, and it seemed like a good fit among other things they encouraged him to pursue. They were relieved. But sadly, that relief didn't last long. The thing is, Harry was always going to be a concern, and Meghan only amplified this challenging aspect of his personality. Now it seems like he's just as troublesome as she is, and maybe he always was. He's always had a rebellious streak and been hard to rein in. Initially, they might have been hopeful that Meghan would help him find his purpose in life and keep him on track. Well, she did influence him, but not quite in the way the family had hoped. I often wonder how Harry feels about Meghan and Melissa's actions, especially when the Queen was still around. When they mocked her, it was truly disgraceful. Meghan and Melissa may have thought they were being funny, but they only ended up laughing at themselves. Their behavior was incredibly insulting and rude. Could Harry stand for such disrespect towards his own family? It was shameful. Back in Henry VIII's time, they would have ended up in the Tower for such behavior. It seems like Meghan and Doria have completely influenced Harry's thoughts and opinions. He seems to have lost his own voice, and I fear that if Meghan ever leaves him, as she inevitably will, Harry will be left utterly adrift. He's lost himself in this relationship, and it's something he should really worry about. In 2023, Harry and Meghan were labeled as the biggest disappointments of the year. And it looks like this year they're continuing their streak of failures. I can understand Meghan failing to launch a brand just for PR, but we're tired of hearing about these projects that never go anywhere. The Pearl series, Meet Maine at the Lake, the Lemon podcast, what happened to them? And what about the 40 by 40 initiative? They were rumored to attend big events like the Oscars, Met Gala, and Super Bowl, but once again, they were no shows. Harry and Meghan are just a couple of letdowns, and it's getting old. It's like the same story repeating over and over again. But let's get back to Melissa McCarthy. What's her deal? Why is she throwing her support behind Meghan like that? It's really disappointing. She's chosen the wrong person to stand by. It seems like she's trying to attach herself to someone who's not doing so well. Part of me feels a bit sorry for her, but not really. I think she might be just as unpleasant as Meghan. When did she start thinking Meghan was so amazing? Was it when Meghan was an aspiring actress, or was it when she became a duchess? Or maybe it was when Melissa saw a chance to get some media attention. She can't be that clueless. There must be some motive behind all this. So Melissa's saying everyone should leave Meghan alone, but Harry and Meghan can write a book, make a documentary, and do interviews all criticizing the royals. It's absurd they just can't resist attacking them. It seems like Meghan's been planning this from the start. Maybe she misspoke when she talked about modernizing the royal family. Perhaps she meant monetizing. And of course, she wanted to climb even higher on the social ladder. Others might have joined in for their own reasons, like being anti monarchy or stirring up racial tension, but thankfully it all came to a head. Imagine if Meghan had stayed in the royal family longer, she would have caused even more damage. She's too focused on herself, too self absorbed. She could never dedicate herself to serving others. She's only interested in making money and becoming more famous. Meghan and Harry sneaked away like thieves in the night. Her relentless attacks on the royal family, despite their kindness and silence, have revealed her true nature. She's a bully. How many false accusations has Meghan made blaming the press and the British people for racism? It's disgraceful. And now she's not exactly popular, except among her loyal followers. But what do these people have in common? They're all mean-spirited, aggressive, and malicious. So it's no surprise they're big fans of Meghan. Melissa doesn't seem to have much sense either. Meghan Markle isn't an independent woman. She's milking her royal titles for all they're worth while still bashing the monarchy. Without those titles, she'd fade into obscurity. I can't fathom why any celebrities would want to associate with them. It just makes them look foolish. Harry and Meghan are dishonest, hypocritical, and they've repeatedly embarrassed themselves. Volunteering to defend Meghan is a risky move. And honestly, it's not a new tactic for them. I wouldn't be surprised if Meghan herself wrote those comments supposedly from Melissa McCarthy about her. The way she described Melissa just doesn't add up. Words like awesome, smart, wonderful, interesting, and inspiring, those are the same words Meghan loves to use to describe herself. She throws them around in her own speeches and interviews. Remember when Meghan's 5 friends, who supposedly spoke with the media, used the same overly positive language? It's pretty clear where that's all coming from. Whether it's from the minions, Scooby Doo, Boozy, or whoever, it's always the same old stuff regurgitated. They're all singing from the same hymn sheet, and none of them ever come up with anything original to say. Melissa and Meghan do seem to share some similarities. They both lack manners and class, but despite that, they've both found success. However, I can't imagine living such a fake life where every detail needs to be planned out just to pretend to be someone you're not. It must be exhausting. Beyond Doria, Meghan's black relatives have stayed quiet about her. Their silence speaks volumes. I believe they see her as an outcast, and I'm sure they've received offers to speak out, but they've chosen not to. Good for them. They need to distance themselves from Meghan as much as possible. I wonder if any of them will be lucky enough to snag one of Meghan's 50 jars of jam. If they don't bring any value to her PR trip, they probably won't be mentioned. That's how Meghan treats her friends and family, after all. Maybe this is her attempt to revive her fading brand. She rushed to overshadow Prince William and the Diana Awards, which is why she launched her product prematurely. She hasn't even secured a trademark yet, and she didn't think to secure the other domain names either. It's pretty embarrassing. She claims to pay close attention to detail and be intelligent, but it's clear she messed up here. I find it amusing that King Charles Highgrove Jam has already sold out, and the UK and Canada domain names are raising money for charity. You couldn't make this stuff up. Meghan tried to create buzz with her 50 jars of jam, but it's been a big flop. There's not even anything available for sale on the site. Why is she even setting up this brand? It's baffling. The half-hearted attempt with American Riviera Orchard really shows her narcissistic traits. She's lazy and self-absorbed, unwilling to put in the hard work needed for success. That's why she'll keep failing. It's not because people are jealous or feel threatened by her, as Melissa said. I believe someday Melissa will regret standing up for this narcissist. Many people underestimate themselves, but eventually they realize their potential. Melissa is a simple woman who believes Meghan will always be there for her, her BFF forever. But who would want to be friends with Meghan? Anyone who does is just as bad as she is, as we've seen time and time again. It's important not to assume you know everything and not to blindly follow someone else's script. If Harry and Meghan simply chose to enjoy their private lives with their kids, no one would fault them. They have more money and privilege than most of us could ever imagine. However, what's unforgivable is their Netflix series Mockery and the disrespect and lies it contained. And let's not forget Harry's upcoming book and the media frenzy around it. Meghan is obsessed with fame and admiration. She craves everyone's love and admiration, wanting them to buy into her victim narrative. Her treatment of her family, especially her father, is appalling and downright evil. I don't believe Meghan is naturally beautiful because inside she's incredibly ugly. Normal, decent people prioritize their families and would never treat their parents like Meghan has treated her father. She evidently deceived Harry with numerous lies to get to where she is today, desperate to keep her facade intact. She showed no respect for royal protocol or the Queen's authority, and she seemed to believe she could sideline William and Catherine in the line of succession. It's absurd, especially when you consider how the Prince and Princess of Wales conduct themselves. They haven't sunk to the depths that Harry and Meghan constantly do. Instead, they quietly persevere through all the challenges they face. The only remaining course of action is to strip Harry and Meghan of their titles and all royal patronages, including Invictus. I'm certain Meghan will try to exploit the charity with her expenses, and I don't believe for a second she should attend the games. It would be intriguing if it were proven she didn't carry those children in her womb. There are numerous inconsistencies with her pregnancy stories. I was much younger than her when I had kids, and there's no way I would have been able to squat down in those positions so late in my pregnancy. I truly hope that one day the truth comes to light. I would also like to hear from Meghan's previous partners about their experiences with her as a partner, including all the friends she abandoned. There are lots of issues with those two that need fixing. I believe one day Meghan Markle's former friend and her supporters will speak up and share the truth about her. Do you think she's prepared for that? Because it's bound to happen. Meghan's main focus seems to be on keeping Harry and leading the royal family. That wedding seemed more like a publicity stunt to help Meghan become a big name in Hollywood, like Oprah, by distancing herself from her real family and inviting famous people instead. Meghan used the British taxpayers and manipulated everyone to achieve global fame and power. I think they had it all planned out before they even tied the knot. That's why Oprah visited them before the wedding. Remember how surprised she was by how small Nottingham Cottage was? Poor Meghan. They were already setting up for that interview. I'm certain of it. Meghan Markle never planned to stick around. She wanted those titles. She was going to grab them and leave. She thought with those titles she'd finally be accepted by the elite circle she longed to be a part of. She hoped she'd get noticed in Hollywood and everywhere else. Harry just fell for all the lies and sob stories. He was too naive to see that Meghan was the one leaking everything to the media. I don't know about you, but considering all this, I'm content being an ordinary person. At least we can see through people like Meghan. Recognizing someone's true character comes down to having good values. To do that, you need to observe good behavior and intentions. Meghan Markle clearly lacks good character, unlike Melissa. Melissa hasn't helped herself by associating with Meghan. Eventually, she'll realize she's made a mistake, just like others have. Hollywood won't welcome her either. You know what they say, if you lie down with dogs, you'll get up with fleas. Meghan is like a parasite, draining the life out of anyone she's connected to. Her reputation is beyond repair, but she's dragging others down with her. People like Melissa McCarthy and the Kardashians will learn the hard way. And their ties to Meghan will lead to serious problems sooner or later. Maybe then we'll witness major conflicts and scandals with everything coming to light. Until then, we're stuck enduring the fake drama from Meghan's supporters. It's tough to watch, but at least we can find some humor in it. And that wraps up this video. What are your thoughts on Melissa McCarthy? Share your opinions in the comments. If you agree with me, drop a comment. If not, let me know your viewpoint. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Your support keeps us going. Thanks for watching and see you soon. Goodbye.